So the focus this Memorial Day is on the midterms for the president. I'm pleased to bring in right now host of the Dr. Maria Show, Dr. Maria Ryan, with us in studio. Also joining us, Christian Wyden, former senior advisor in the Trump and Bush administration, senior fellow at the Center for National Interest. And Jay Young, he's the founder and CEO of King Operating Corporation and the author of The Upside of Oil and Gas Investing. All right, so we are looking at New York. Mike Lawler, the seat is a bit of a vulnerable one. President Trump is there, of course, to talk about all the work with the One Big Beautiful Bill. But I'll start with you, Maria. You know, Americans, as we also heard, are trying to enjoy Memorial Day weekend. And you know the Democrats have been jumping on these high gas prices as a point of contention to attack the president.
You know, there's several things going on with the gas prices. We do have a federal tax on gases, but the states put a lot of taxes on their gas as well. And you look at California, they have the highest tax rate, almost 90 cents when you include their state tax, the federal tax, and they, of course, get low carbon excision taxes. So Californians are paying the most. Alaska paying the least, but there's something really odd going on. Why United States, as the lead exporter, why are we caught up in the price, hikes in the Strait of Hormuz? The main reason is because it's priced globally. So that is something President Trump should work on, how we can not go with global pricing. Since we are a net exporter, we can take care of ourselves. We need to move away from that structure.
You know, President Trump has said we're overflowing with oil from Venezuela, and obviously there's high hopes that there could be obviously a deal potentially with Iran, even albeit if it comes after a resuming of military action. We'll get to that in a moment. But Jay, pick up on some of that because, you know, a lot of people are looking at their checkbooks, the money, and gas prices is one aspect of it, and it is your industry. What do you tell folks out there who just say it's just expensive and I either have to cut back on driving or I can't hold on, as the administration says, until a deal gets done?
That's true, Bianca. I'll tell you what's happening right now. We still need 20 million barrels of oil in the United States every day. That's our appetite. That's what addiction is, what George Bush called it one time. We still need a lot of oil every day, and we're only producing 13, maybe even 12 at this point. So we're still needing a lot of oil. Our refineries are out. We need our refineries kicked back in. Venezuelan oil is good for our refineries, which are pretty empty right now because of the type of crude that we produce. We produce a lighter, higher quality crude, and we just can't refine it here in the United States. So we're kind of our necessary evil is we need more refineries. We're shutting them down, and we need more, and we need more money. I mean, we're 12 to 14 refineries short in the United States, and they only cost about $30 billion apiece. You know, so that's a lot of money, and that's a lot of regulations to have to go through and try to get the Democrats to agree to put more refineries in because of the supply and demand.
Okay, so let's talk about, I just want to bring Christian in here because we've got a lot going on when it comes to Iran. And we also know Christian Secretary of State Marco Rubio is in Sweden today, and he's talking with our NATO allies. And he says we have not abandoned hope for diplomacy. So let's go to a shift to the focus here on what potentially you think could be coming in the next few days when it comes to Iran.
Well, I think we all would love to see an agreement with Iran in which the straits are open and they abandon their nuclear ambitions and so forth. Their nuclear weapons ambitions.
Well, there you have it, Christian. Pick up on that.
Yeah, it would be great if our allies stood up and do something. It would be nice, I guess, if we get an agreement with Iran, but Iran is really good at breaking agreements. Frankly, I'm surprised that Iran hasn't agreed to what Trump has demanded and then just made plans to break that agreement by slow walking it. For example, accepting IAEA inspection or removal of the uranium hexafluoride, the precedents to the highly enriched uranium that Iran has been producing. I think there's going to be a necessity to resume military operations. We're going to have to militarily reopen the Strait of Hormuz by putting a blue carpet over the thing, a no-fly zone. It would be nice if Europe did that. It'd be nice if someone else did it, but they won't do it. And as has been pointed out, even though we don't get a lot of oil through the Strait of Hormuz, it does affect oil prices. And even though inflation is not that bad, it's at 3.8% or 2.8% if you remove energy from food, and the economy is doing great. The Atlanta Fed has the current quarter at a sizzling 4.3% GDP growth. That is incredible. The fact is the media is so focused on gas and has downplayed the economic progress Trump has made that people really are focused on this.
Yeah. I know you were just overseas, Dr. Maria, with some Iranians connected. Tell us about your trip to Paris and what you were hearing from those who are impacted.
Pretty much every year I'm in Paris at the National Council of the Resistance of Iran. It's their national headquarters, and they do get a lot of support from Europeans. But they have great networks within Iran, even though the IRGC has put a cap on how they speak to one another. Sometimes they get on Starlink, but they can only get on for about 2 minutes. We absolutely know, we have the intel, that Iran still has a lot of missiles and drones. We even know the location. They are underground. So they are going to wreak havoc with their neighbors, UAE, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and they're hoping by doing that, those countries will then come to the United States and say, okay, please, we call uncle, will you just make a deal with them?
Yeah.
But we can't, right?
No, and President Trump has been pretty clear of holding on and holding the line. Thank you all. I know, Dr. Maria, you'll be staying with us throughout the broadcast. Jay, appreciate your thought on where we are with the production and what we need here. And Christian Wyden, always great to have your geopolitical strategy here. Thank you all this Friday.